Here's another sequence question. The following patterns are made using circles. So we have pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3. We want to draw pattern 4, complete the table, and then write down a formula. So let's start with part A. We want to draw pattern 4. So as we notice, in pattern 1, we have 5 circles. So 5 circles in pattern 1. In pattern 2, we have our 5 circles plus 2 more, so we have 7 circles. In pattern 3, we have our 7 circles plus 2 more, so we have 9. So pattern 4 is going to have pattern 3, but then 2 more circles. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom, but then I need to add 2 more. So pattern 4 has 11 circles. So this will help us fill in the table. So now we want to complete this table showing how many circles are needed for each pattern. So for pattern 1, we have 5 circles. For pattern 2, we said there was 7 circles. For pattern 3, we had 9 circles. For pattern 4, we had 11. Now we'll notice here that we are going up in a sequence. So we are adding on 2 every time. So in pattern 5, again, we would add 2, and we'd have 13. In pattern 6, we add 2, and we'd have 15. Now, how are we going to get pattern 12? Well, one method is just to continue. So if we had 6, so let's just continue down here. Let's say we had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. So if we went from 6 all the way to 7, we're going to add 2. So we had 15, 16, 17. Still adding 2 every time. 19, adding 2, 21, 23, 25, 27. So pattern 12 will have 27 circles. Now we're on to the last part of this question. So here, we want to write down a formula for finding the number of circles C if you know the pattern number. Well, our rule helps us work this out. So we want to try and find C. But what we need to do is we need to take our rule and we need to multiply it by our pattern number. So our rule, we went up in 2, and we're going to multiply it by our pattern number here, our P. But something could be happening here, so we need to take a look at this. So if I take 2 and multiply it by my pattern number, so let's say I take 2 and I multiply it by my pattern number 1, I get 2. But that's not how many circles I have. I have 5. Let's look at the next one. If I take 2 and multiply it by my pattern number of 2, I get 4. But that's not how many circles I had 7. We can do another one. I'll do pattern 4. So if I take 2 and multiply it by 4, I should have 8 circles, but I actually have 11. So where there is something else happening here, after I times it by the pattern number, I need to either add or subtract something on. Well, let's go back and look at what we've just done. So in pattern 1, when I multiplied by 2, I got 2 circles, but I actually had 5. So how do I get from 2 to 5? Well, I add 3 on. So let's check if that works for the other ones. So here in pattern 2, I said I had 4 circles, but in reality I really had 7. So how do I get from 4 to 7? Well, I'm adding 3 on. Okay, pattern 4, I ended up with 8. but I really had 11 circles. So what's happening here? Well, how do I get from 8 to 11? I add 3. So each time I'm multiplying by 2, my pattern number by 2, but then I have to add 3 on to get the circle numbers. So here is my formula. Now let's just simplify this. We can say C equals 2P plus 3. That is my formula. Now I can always do a quick check if I want, just to make sure it's right. So just on the side, let's do a check. Okay, so to get the number of circles, we go 2P plus 3. So let's check out for pattern. Let's do pattern 3. So we know we should get 9. So let's do pattern 3. So to get the circles, we take 2 and we multiply it by our pattern number. So 2 times 3. And then we have to add 3 onto that. So let's check. C equals 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3. So circles is 9. So it does work, this formula, so I know that it's correct.